welcome to Angel Update. If you're listening, if you could type in the chat if you can hear me. I want to make sure the audio is okay. Awesome, thank you. All right, we'll dive right in and see what the angels have for us for December 2024, our last angel update for the calendar year, and solstice tomorrow. Lots of energy going through. You all may be feeling that, and I'm curious what the angels have for us. This is Adria, an unconscious channel of Angels Ariel and Raphael. This is Angel Raphael. Good. So let's just ask each of you to first connect with your center point in the heart space. We want to clear some energies in the room, in the group before we begin. So if you can just take a few moments to connect in your own heart space to your center point there. Just holding your own field in love. Good. This is Raphael. So we'll speak about solstice today. It's not, strictly speaking, a religious or spiritual holiday, although sometimes it is observed in different religions, customs, and traditions. But ultimately it has to do with seasonal light. And the reference point for humankind that things will always change, even though there are rhythms and seasons. So we had spoken in the past about spiral learning, and how it seems sometimes that you come across something similar and you wonder, am I stuck? Am I stuck in a loop here? For most of you, you are moving in spiral directions, which means you get closer and closer to the core of the issue, or further and further away from the wrong understanding. Either way, it's growth. And so most of you don't say, oh no, it's winter again, or oh no, it's summer again in Australia, right? Oh, it comes around every year, I'm so bored of this. And yet it's distinctly the same and different each year. There are some hallmarks of winter, some hallmarks of summer, but there are reference points that are helpful, and even more helpful to be in the present, because weather anomalies or differences year to year are also the norm. So being present to what is within a loose framework of expectation. All right, probably if it's winter where I am, I'll have some sweaters in the closet and not sundresses. But I'll also pay attention, what's the weather? Do the plants need to be covered? Or would I love to be outdoors because it's unseasonably warm? So in reference to the weather, you're used to being present and flexible, adaptable. Now, when it comes to energy currents, some of you are less flexible and adaptable. You want it to be one way because before you went to sleep, or last week you said on Tuesday, I'm going to get these things done, and then you woke up feeling in a very different mood than what you had on your calendar scheduled. So we would ask that you be as flexible with the energies as you are with your weather noticings, because energetic weather, now it may last shorter or longer than a day, but it brings with it what is ripe and ready and easiest for harvesting that day or that few hours. So, when the sun is shining, it's unseasonably warm, it's lovely to go out for a walk right then instead of waiting until 2 a.m. when all your work is done and it's quite cold and dark. So similarly, when the energy weather is focused in a certain direction, it's very useful to follow that thread. So whether or not it's convenient to you, this particular solstice is bringing the energy of defiance. So you have seen in some global governments peaceful or not so peaceful change of scene going on around the world in the last week or less. And that is partly this energy of defiance that comes with solstice. So rather than look at the political atmosphere, we would like you to look at yourself, or in addition, but today we'll focus on you in this forum. What in you would you like to defy against? What old regime would you like to overthrow in you? So to give some examples, maybe something comes to mind already, but to give some examples, are you frustrated, continually frustrated with one way of being where you feel stuck? Or do you notice that you're a little bit judgmental about certain aspects of other people and you would rather that was not the case? Or you just notice you're ready for a breakthrough, but you're being a bit lazy about it, riding old habits. Or the way that you intersect with the world, the way the world views you feels a bit intolerable. So those are just some examples. But it's on your personal sphere, right? Because that's where you have the most agency right now. So we'd like you to just notice that in this solstice time, this next 3 days more or less, you could celebrate right on the peak of the solstice if you like, but it's not so important that you wake up in the middle of the night for that. As that sometime in these next 3 days, take an hour more or less to reflect on what would I like to use this energy of defiance to break through in myself. We have an exercise. We could suggest that you somehow symbolically write something down or choose a symbol of this thing you'd like to be in defiance of and then smash it. So for example, you could write something into an ice block and smash it with a rock. You could write it on a chalkboard and break that in half. You will find some examples that won't damage your home or office environment, but really use that energy of defiance in a very constructive way, symbolically. It doesn't have to look spiritual. It could be a child's toy or a piece of bubble gum. It doesn't matter to us. So just to have something in the physical world that you can shatter would be helpful to really bring that energy of defiance. And then what you have written there, or what it symbolizes, is what you would like to change, what you would like to smash up in terms of your own way of being. For example, if you felt like you're always so polite that sometimes you deny yourself your own truth, or get into trouble because of this, you might have a little tiny cuddly bear or something that looks like just, oh, so cute, and you want to smash that. So that you can come into your authenticity. So be playful with this if you like. Again, it's not a battle. It's about you with you. What are you in defiance of? And then if other people want to play this out in terms of societal groups or government change, that's fine. And if you want to be part of that, that's also fine. But for now, we want to suggest that you use this for energies with your own self. This is Raphael. There's a bit of a misunderstanding in some spiritual hearts that to be truly evolved means to meet everything with equanimity and poise. And yes, it is true that as your vibratory layers heighten up, as your vibratory state gets higher, so to speak, less affects you the way it used to. Things seem less dramatic. Maybe you have fewer tantrums within or without of yourself. But sometimes this energy of defiance, of anger, can be quite healthy to move things. So you may be struggling this week. You may have felt this in the last few hours or few days, where you felt this burning need to change something or to take some physical action, not violent, but, get that thing done already. Maybe deep cleaning or gardening with a shovel. Something may have been moving you to just, I need to do this right now. I need to take action. So trust yourself that you'll sit down and do those more polite things on your to-do list at another hour perhaps, but seize this energy of defiance and let it move with you towards your own goals. So this is why we started with talking about weather, is sometimes there's not much you can do about the fact that it's sunny and warm or cold and raining, but you can certainly harness that towards your own goals, right? If you've been wanting to take a walk and it's lovely out, you can harness it towards, well, I'll do it right now, give it a sort of poignance. If it's cold and rainy, you can sit down to that computer task you've been putting off. So you can harness energies to your own goals. You don't have to feel victimized by them. So when this strong energy of defiance of this particular solstice season comes in, you don't have to fight that. So being in defiance of defiance is only going to perhaps leave you with a headache. But if you use the energy of defiance towards things you've been wanting to change, even to deep clean some part of the house that's been bothering you, then you are channeling the energies that are towards your own will. And more and more as you become adept at this in the daily energies, you can flow with life instead of being so structured and linear that you're always fighting against, well, I said I was going to walk today and I don't care that it's below freezing and raining, I'm going anyway. Maybe there's indoor exercise you could do that day, or you could flip activities, what you planned for tomorrow, since it will be sunny, and do that indoor thing today and the walk tomorrow. So it's not that you jettison all of the things you wanted to do in life, but can you be flexible about the timing and the moment? So because time is less structural, you are going to feel that more and more, the currents of what is timely right now. Not what time is it and what did I have planned for 2 to 4 o'clock today, but what is timely right now in my energy. So maybe give yourself the gift. Some of you have a little bit of free time in your schedule relative to work this week up ahead. Maybe give yourself 2 or 3 days where you fully practice this. Waking up and seeing, what does your energy feel like? Does it feel like sleeping in? Do you feel like going for a run? Do you feel like calling a bunch of friends over for a visit? And honoring that, what is in the energies for you, and see what life is like when you honor where the energy is, instead of holding yourself like those young children who are feel chained to a desk and it feels so foreign. At that age, There's so much wiggly energy, and yet the child is told, no, no, you must sit, be very still, be very quiet, don't speak. It's very unruly to the child self, very foreign to try to live like that. Well, it's also foreign to the adult self. You yourself have wiggly energy, whether it is physical energy to expend, emotional energy, creative, constructive, creative things. So being able to sit down and write the poem when it's right there, flowing through your creative consciousness. And so truly honoring what is in the energies, we would suggest a good holiday gift to yourself would be to take 3 days somewhere in the next month, 3 days in a row, please, where you could really follow the energy. And you might be surprised. You might think, oh, days off have to be just feet up and doing quote unquote nothing. But you might be surprised how much fun you have if you allow yourself to really flow with where the energies are. So even energies that feel quote unquote negative, like defiance, can be used for a very positive, gleeful purpose. So this is what we suggest you do with the defiance energy of solstice, is gleefully smash up one thing, 4 things, something like that. Let's say less than 10, so that you can feel the difference in your life and set that energy in motion. All you're doing is declaring, I'm in defiance of this. I no longer tolerate it, and symbolically smashing it up. And see how that changes the energy in your field, in your life circumstance, and in what you allow when you see that coming back towards you, that moment to be overly polite, and you flash to maybe smashing up that little cutesy teddy bear, and you think, maybe I could just say, that I don't really like it when you say that to me. Don't have to get out a camping knife and hurt someone. There's a whole spectrum between super polite, overly polite if it's harming you, to violent action, right? So playing with what else is there. Defiance doesn't mean I have to flip to be the other personality type, but maybe I'm ready to grow a bit, and so I can be in defiance of where I feel stuck or hemmed in by my own habits, or by how I think the world perceives me. So you can smash up some of those too. This isn't fair. I'm always seen in this light, or I always get boxed into this corner, and I'm in defiance of that. So it can be abstract like that as well, because that also is in you. That's reflecting out into the world. Okay, this is Adria. I'm just going to see if there's any questions. Oh, yes, great question. Someone's asking about insomnia in the past few weeks. I have been experiencing this also. Is this something physical or energetic? If you could provide some advice on how to get restful sleep. Yes, this is Raphael. To some extent, this fits very beautifully in what we have just been saying about following where the energies are. Now, when energies are very potent and they are enlivening you, lifting you up, raising your vibration, which is the case right now, planetarily speaking, sometimes that wakes you up, literally, and it may be at an inconvenient time. And depending on if there are others right around you, small children or others you could wake up by moving around, you might have the flexibility to just get up for an hour and see, where is my energy? Is it wanting to write lists of things I'd love to do in 2025? Is it wanting to physically move? You could do some yoga or stretches quietly in another room. Is it just wanting to recognize, oh, my system is just buzzing with vibration, and in a sense meditating on that physical aspect. In other words, perceiving, feeling it, honoring it, and then it will eventually move on to a more restful state. The body does not need necessarily set amounts of sleep as long as you are taking rest And meditation is a form of rest, which is very regenerative. So being a bit creative again, I didn't really plan to or want to be up at 3 a.m., 1 a.m., but now that I am, can I not pretend that I'm not? And what do I do with these energies? Yes, you can try physical things like herbal teas or things that you know work for you, but maybe experiment with letting the energy run where it wants to. It may physically want to shake through your body and just move. It may be enlightening energies like that. And it may be a lot of creativity. So if your mind is very active, at the same time that you're awake, we would suggest to write down what your mind is active about, because you could be receiving inspiration for your future growth. If anyone else has questions, feel free to type in the chat. The question is, I was curious why channels talking about the solar flash are so diverse in their information. Some say it's an internal experience individually, others say it's a big global one-time event. And this got cut off, but it says it will change, I think. Let's say change a lot. Oh, here we go. Change life completely. Yeah. This is Raphael. Solar light is one of the main ways that energy is transferring to the human cells. We've been speaking in workshops about DNA change, accessible to all. You don't have to be special or sign up for a special workshop for this. But the DNA change is essentially exacerbated and activated by solar light. So that has been going on for some years and will continue for some more years. So there is a transformative power of light that is what we have been calling today enlightening. In other words, it's raising your vibration, which is also raising your consciousness frequency. So you're moving on that spectrum towards enlightenment. Whether you decide to go all the way on that road is up to you. But on that spectrum, again, away from density towards enlightenment, that solar light is activating those cellular resources to enhance physiologically that is what occurring for you if you signed up for that. In other words, if you consciously at some point have said, yeah, I'd like to play with the new energies and be more conscious and alert and sensitive to what's open for humankind right now, those kinds of things, is saying yes to that ascension energies. Whether or not you call it specific words from the angelic standpoint is not so important, although there are many codes and systems which are quite helpful. We're not discounting that. We're just saying you don't have to sign up for one particular system to be activated. It's already happening. If you're a human on Earth and you've said, yes, I want to ascend, it's happening for you, because the solar light, especially the flare activities, have been regenerative and generative towards your future selves. That said, Earth Sun is not the only sun, and some of the flashes that will come that will be very, very apparent may not come from the Earth Sun. They may come from other places in the galactic space. So we do see there will be one or more extraordinarily bright events. Not world ending, but yes, world changing. At the same time, please don't wait for that, because you're already transformed to a degree beyond what has yet been accessible to humankind. So for many of you, the complaints are having trouble sleeping, so sensitive now, things like that, physical quote-unquote ailments because of integrating so much change. So you're already feeling a bit overloaded with the amount of change. So don't wait for, oh, I have to wait for some big flash in the sky and then I'll know it's time to change. We would suggest that the more you embrace the change now, the easier that large moment or moments will be. And yes, we do see it as a singular event, maybe more than one very bright flash that will enhance and accelerate. But if you have already actively been, through your intention, through your playful interaction with your new energies, integrating this new, let's call it a metamorphosis, human metamorphosis, that is again available to all, the more you have been acclimating, changing, the less dramatic this big flash is going to feel, although we would suggest it will feel quite blissful. So it's nothing to be concerned about. And for some people who have not thought that metaphysical talk is very real, it may be a bit of a jolt of transcendence, which gives people the opportunity to choose from a more honest perspective. Here's what bliss feels like. Here's what ascension feels like. Do you want this? And still some people will say, no, I feel alarmed. That's too different from my normal state. I don't like it. And some will say, oh, please, I never want to leave this higher vibratory state. So it will seem out of the blue for many, and for many who have already been practicing with light in one form or another, your own light or solar light, angelic light, source light, it will certainly feel more enhanced, more extreme, more blissful, and yet the more acclimated you are, in some sense, the less of a big deal it will seem. So it is both. So again, we suggest you not wait for that event. And timelines can change, but right now it still does look like that is coming for Earth, and it's a beautiful galvanization of change from angelic perspective, something to be welcomed and just taken in, take it on its own terms. It will tell you, light is intelligent. It will tell you, it will guide you through, is it time to gaze at the light? Is it time to lay down? Is it time to meditate? Is it time to write a book in 3 hours? The light will guide you. It will mean something a bit different to each person because people are unique. People are so beautifully unique on this plane of existence, and that is part of the human expression. So although the light may look the same, feel the same to many, where that meets you where you are now is up to your own unique expression as well, although there will be similarities when you compare later with your friends, and some will feel distinctly different how it feels for you. So if you were to take 5 people on a 3-day retreat into the mountains or the forest with a lot of quiet, each of those 5 people would experience very different things. Someone would love the quiet, someone would feel scared of bears, someone would miss technology so much, someone else would have a shamanic experience talking with the trees. So, you can take the whole world, as will be the case, into one experience of heightened light, and people will have their own reflection of what that means to them. But from angelic perspective, it's very kindly, and it is a push. It's an evolutionary push. Ooh, that's fun. This is Adria, and they're telling me to wrap up, so I'll do that. And happy solstice, everyone. I was hoping that something would come through as a gift or a practice or something that people could do on their own in these next few days. So here it is. It came through. And so much love to each of you, and just delight in sharing this journey with you. Thank you for sharing your light and your willingness willingness to change and grow and experiment and learn. I'm right there with you. Thank you so much.